Hi, I'm Paul and this is Jackie. Jackie's had about 5 classes, and in this way you can see myself working with someone who has 5 classes of experience in downward facing dog. So without any more delays, let's go to a beginning setup position. I'm going to move out of the way, and I'm going to let Jackie go on the mat. She's going to go into table posture. Okay, a couple of things. Table posture is probably going to be your easiest way to set up your alignments ahead of time. And we'll take a peek at this. A couple of things. Make sure your hands are lined up right under your shoulders. Good. Make sure your knees come a little bit forward so they're lined up under your hips. Good. Look through your legs and see if you can see your feet and make sure they don't flare in or flare out. I can see they're not flaring out, so that's good. And so we have a good table posture here. We're making sure that the elbows are not locked. So there should be a little bit of sponginess here. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go right into a downward dog. So I'm going to ask you to roll your toes under and press with the center of your palms all the way up. Okay, a couple of things here that we should note ahead of time. This could be possibly that her calves are not stretched out, okay? This is not something I'm really concerned with because a lot of people don't have the ability to bring the heels down yet. So at the beginning, you might well advise someone to just bend their knees. Go ahead and bend your knees, Jackie. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around at this end, and I'm going to put these blocks aside for now, but we'll use them later. And I'm going to ask you to let your head hang between, yep, that's it. And so the first thing that I've done is I'm going to go to one that you commonly see. I've got my foot almost, it depends on the person, almost between her hands, but not quite. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start to push her shoulders, and I push right at the shoulder blades. And I didn't even really apply much pressure, so she was very nice to kind of lean into the direction I was going. Now, a couple of things. Since she moved back, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the heels of my palms and press them into the sacrum and then push back here. Okay, so what we're doing, we're trying to get the sharpest peak possible at the sit bones, lifting the sit bones up to the sky. And now, from the back, I want to show you another one. If you come around to this side over my right shoulder, and what I've done here is I've set up in another stance where I've got my feet are like warrior feet, kind of like warrior one. And what I'm doing here is I usually draw back from the hips, and then what happened is she went in pretty sharp. Okay, now a couple of things from this position. Okay, some of you who are trying to figure out what should I do next. Okay, you could draw back from the legs. I went for the hips right away. Some people use an X hand or X grip like this, and what they do is, actually, I should have said this way, okay, like this, and start to draw back, okay, to get a sharper peak. Go ahead and let your head rest between, yep. So, what's going on here, we've got some pretty decent posture for the beginning. Again, I'm going to just go back a little bit more, that's it. And what I'm going to say to you, Jackie, is take a rest. Okay. Now, another thing I want to point out, and that is that some people are really hooked on the idea of the heels coming down. They've even got ways to drive the heels down, or they start to put wedges under the feet, which is nice. But it's one of those things where we want to safely work it. I don't think there's anything wrong with the wedges. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of the other methods either, even drawing down, but sometimes you drive your students nuts trying to conform. For example, if somebody has within their ankle, maybe they have a shorter joint capsule and they just can't get that kind of extension and drop it down. In Jackie's case, it's a case of her calves, and I'm reasonably sure that's what it is. But in some cases, it's a matter of the skeletal compression right in the ankle joint. Now, we're going to try something a little bit different, and I'm going to ask you to go ahead and go to table again, this time using the blocks underneath. Now, again, for those of us who want to see the heels go down, as I said, the primary physical objective is to get a sharp peek at the sit bones, but that may not happen for any number of reasons. Go ahead and roll your toes under, and your alignments are good, and go ahead and press into downward dog. Okay. She actually walked her feet forward a little bit, and you can see that the blocks, you know, if you have these blocks against the wall, that what would happen is, I mean, she'd be pretty much down there. What I'm going to do is make one assist right here, where I did in the beginning, and went for the, yep, and what happens, now, again, I'm pushing back this way. You can, from this one, just so you know, for your position, you could be in a squat position, or this, yep, and let your head hang, good, let your head hang, and try to relax, breathe into it, breathe, okay, and she's all the way down. So, some other ways of looking at it are, for example, when you're working with somebody and they're new, and go ahead and take a break, Jackie. When you're working with somebody and they're new to yoga, don't get so hooked up on the alignment being exactly perfect. There are cases where people have scoliosis in your classes, and any number of issues going on that you're not going to get somebody who's going to just turn their body into what you want. What you have to do is make it the best possible posture you can. So without going any further here, I just want to say goodbye to the rest of you and have a nice day. Namaste.